Hey, what's going on, Archons? Welcome to another episode of Crucible and Cognac, the evening edition of KeyForge gameplay and interview. This week, I happen to have with me the very talented and I would say also feared Muffins, who you may know from the different Discords and online. And Kate, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going really great, thank you.
I know that intro, I was not jesting. I literally hear people mention your names as like a hurdle or an obstacle
Oh
that
my
they have to
gosh,
overcome to move forward and things. So, congratulations on building that reputation.
that's scary though. It's weird being, famous, infamous in a niche community.
Well, it's good. I mean, that means you're providing stiff competition, and I'm a little nervous and excited for this because Katarzyna kind of handed my ass to me last time we played
Oh, she's
on this.
exceptional. She's very
Yeah,
good.
she brought a disgusting deck, which I was 100% not prepared for, but it
Oh
was a lot
no.
of fun. So, why don't, before we start the game, let's just talk about our decks a little bit. What are you playing tonight?
So I have an old school CotA deck. It's called Heavy Hold of Skull Plain Mountain. I picked it up in a before everything got locked down. I went to a board game convention in Harrogate called Aircon, and they have like a secondhand bring and buy sort of thing. So I always go in and sneak through all of the KeyForge decks that they have, and I found this one for £4, and
Ooh,
it's become one of my favorite decks to play. Um,
the double Battlefleet key abduction is pretty
yeah,
saucy.
so I don't really use the shadows part of it, but the Screaming Cave Library of the Damned is nice for just squirreling away the Mars cards, and then you can
Mm,
actually do the big Battlefleet turn. But it takes a little bit of time to set up, so but
yeah,
it's really silly.
and I guess the guilty hearts with the meta is very nice to have as well
It's
in your back
become
pocket.
better and better, really.
Yeah, I can imagine. For me, I am testing further my deck, which, if you've seen my YouTube videos previous to this, I decided to go on a deck quest with this deck I opened up the other week. And it is pretty fun. Everyone decided that this should be tested further. And it's pretty much the best way to describe it is it's an autoencoder deck. I'm looking to get autoencoder out and try and utilize the discarding of less than ideal cards, but it also happens to have a bunch of cards that cater to discarding by their own nature. So
Hmm.
you're really fueling that play. This deck's greatest nemesis, I would say, is Desania because the archive can get quite thick. So
Ah,
yeah, that's
okay.
it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. One of my favorite cards, I think, in the set is Scrivener Fabian. She's a beautiful centaur that does a lot of work. I think one of the rare mutants that exist in Sanctum, and I just love the idea of a centaur existing in Keyforge. So it's such a cool card, and not to mention the effect of capture icons become steel icons.
Oh, it's brilliant.
All right, so let's just kick things off and get right into it.
Okay. Um,
So, before we go too much further, my question for you to kick things off is, what would you say you are most known for? Like, tell us a bit about yourself. Like, if people want it, we're like, who is Kate, aka Muffins?
um, so I am. Oh gosh. I mean, I play a lot of KeyForge. Um,
When you say a lot, what would you say? Like every day, 5 hours, a lot, or like every
probably,
day, two games?
probably not that much.
Okay,
So in over the last few months, I've done a tournament or an event pretty much every evening.
oh, nice.
Um, yeah, so I'm at about 3 times a week that I'm playing.
Okay,
Yeah, um, I am active on Twitter, so I run the KeyForge Leads community account, um, and I'm generally, I guess, kind of active on Facebook, on Discord. Um, I haven't really been to a lot of events, so I went to the Eindhoven Vault Tour when I was just starting playing, and the UK Grand Championships was the other big one that I went to. But yeah, I play a lot. Sometimes I do okay.
Well, like I said, people, I always see your name being tossed around, or people saying, "Oh, I have to go against Muffins," and they're a little worried about that aspect.
Yeah, and it's kind of strange because I've gone from kind of my local meta is really competitive. So the people who play regularly in my LGS, there are all the other people who are on the team I'm on, Team Archimedes.
Mm.
So every week I'd play at least one game against John Pickavance, who won the UK Vault Tour, and the other guys, and I'd get smacked down every time. So you kind of walk away from that kind of tough environment thinking, oh, I must not be that good, I must not be that competitive, da, 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 da. And then you go outside that and everything goes a bit weird. I find playing online on the Crucible and playing in person such disparate experiences.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
and it just so happens, I guess, that it's gone reasonably well for me. Playing online and having access to like seeing your draw pile, seeing the opponent's discard, being able to count the cards without majorly impacting play. There's lots of benefits for doing that.
Do you think
And
that, do you actually think that, do you prefer playing online as a result, or is it kind of like it is what it is sort of thing?
yeah, a bit. It's kind of I feel like you can get a much higher level of competition in online play,
Mm.
and to
I thought you said
have
this deck wasn't fast.
to have those to be able to like fling a PM to someone on the Sanctimonious Discord and suddenly be playing someone who's come top 8 in a Vault Tour, and have that experience is really valuable. Um, Sometimes it can get a bit deck dominant. I do feel like in-person play is better because you have the table talk, you have the rapport, and you can give direct feedback on a lot of things.
Mm.
So I find that in-person play really valuable for um, preparations for big events and that sort of thing. But I don't really have an option right now for anything else. I can play KeyForge with my partner, but he's not necessarily a competitive player. So I'm
Mm.
not necessarily getting that experience that I want to. So
Right.
um, yeah.
I understand that. Yeah, that makes sense. I do you find when, like, I have a friend that I play with who actually doesn't attend any events. He only got into KeyForge because of me, and we only play together. And I find a lot of times I have to look for a deck that is like not good and is challenging. How dare you get rid of my Heist Knight? And it's I find that I'm looking for decks to create the best experience for them always, because I want them to have fun playing the game, and I want them to be able to also enjoy, the experience and want to keep playing. So I find, like,
Yes.
I notice a difference. Like, if I misjudge a deck and it's actually really good, like I had a deck that it's a Dark Harbinger deck, and I
Mm.
didn't think it was amazing, but I played against him and I absolutely destroyed him. We hadn't played in a while, which didn't help, but it made me kind of just go, oh, okay, and realize that I need to be careful about that, because I just noticed the impact it had on him as a player,
Mm.
and made me a little bit concerned, like, moving forward in that way. So I kind of had to just pump the brakes a little bit and be like, okay, I need to be more cautious when I'm deciding to do things like this and play these types of decks. Have you noticed something like that at all when you're playing with your partner? Like, you have to be kind of select your decks carefully to not deter them from the game.
So in a way, we've been playing a lot of mass mutation decks, which I find really difficult to evaluate based on a deck list.
Hmm.
It's really hard to see how,
Even on DOK doesn't help.
yeah. Um, but I can look at a list and say, okay, Francis the Economist, that's not really an optimal card. I can't see anything jumping out of me on this list, therefore I'm not entirely sure how this deck's going to operate. It's nice that mass mutation decks need a play or two for you to kind of see what's going on, or at least that's my experience of it. So to
Hmm.
play those mass mutation decks against him, with him playing one as well, has been a bit of an equalizer, I think.
Ah, okay. Do you find he enjoys mass mutation the most out of all the sets you've played together?
Um, so we haven't played a huge amount. It's so I have two kind of monster KOA decks. So we played those two against each other. Um, we played. Did we play any AOA? I'm trying to figure out what we've played now.
Hmm. Have
Because
you have you tried the? Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
for a long time he would refuse to play with me because I'd played so much competitively.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's been a struggle anyway. Um, but I think mostly we've been playing mass mutation, and I think that to have the different enhancement icons on different cards really varies it up. And I think
Right.
he finally kind of grokked it with mass mutation, which is great.
Okay.
Hmm.
Have you have you ever tried doing like what I guess was the intention of this game is if you have a advantage over your opponent, give yourself chains to even out that casual play. Have you tried that? Because I know that was really a big thing in like the I guess when you heard about KeyForge for the first time. Did you ever notice that?
Yeah. To be honest, it's not something I've really done in person. I think a lot of people have been experimenting with what chains can do online. So
Mm.
I've been, oh gosh, we're on week 25 now. I've been running a weekly tournament online. Uh,
Hmm.
I can't believe it's gone on this long, to be honest. But for that, I have a spreadsheet and decks accumulate chains to the kind of scale that they would in a chain bound. So 4 if they go 4-0, 3 if they go 3-1. And I think that's been the way that that's been acting has been quite balancing, which has been really encouraging.
Oh,
But
that's good.
I think if I was playing with someone, I would always hand them a much better deck than I was using, or I'd give
Right.
myself a deck that I'm not familiar with, or that I know is missing certain key pieces. Um, but I've never used chains like that. I think it's hard because we've had quite a lot of chats about chains in Team Archimedes because we've been like looking at doing quick adaptive and that sort of thing.
Right.
And we come to the conclusion that a lot of decks can handle a lot more chains than you think.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Ooh, why did all my
Do you
ambers
see how
go?
this do you see how this starts happening with my autoencoder?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? Like there's so many things. Like I have sloppy lab work in here. This is the first time I've played effervescent principle in this deck. I'm normally discarding it.
Oh wow.
And then it has like sloppy lab work, which triggers it. And then when you make me discard things, it's triggering it. It's
Mm.
just a really neat thing. And then I have two of the Lyco thieves and one techno thieves, which is reap, discard a card from your hand, draw a card. So that's cycling each time. You're cycling, discarding a card, drawing a card, archiving a card every time. So it's a really I just got to see if it's actually good. It just cycles
Yeah.
quick.
That sounds great.
It's fun.
Right. Opposition research. Can't reap. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I
Um,
should have said that more
no,
clearly.
it's fine. I will just leave him there then.
Okay. Hmm, hmm, hmm. What to do? What to do?
I mean, you've got a good board out there.
Yeah, it's going pretty solid. I just got to think about the order of events here. That's the hard part about this deck is figuring out the way I should do things.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that Fabian is so yeah. Fabian is like I said, one of my favorite cards. I think it's beautiful art, and it's super crucial to this deck's success. I'm realizing because there's a lot of capture icons on it, so it really can take
Right.
advantage of stealing instead of capturing, which I really like. So I guess we've gotten really far ahead in this conversation without discussing how you actually got into KeyForge, which I
Ah,
always find an interesting conversation to have.
okay. So I've been playing board games and card games like as a major hobby since about 2012, 2013.
Okay.
So I started going to a gaming society at the university I was attending, and really got into um, like deck builders. Like Ascension was one of my gateway games. Um, Agricola, I played a lot of Agricola. Just a lot of different games,
Hmm.
and after a while, I'd never got into Magic. I'd played Pokemon as a kid. Um, I kind of wanted to get into a heavier game, so I looked into Netrunner a bit, and that is the most complicated game I've ever played by
Really
far. Yeah, I cannot understand Netrunner. I don't
interesting.
understand the runner role at all. It's just impossible for me to get into it.
I've
Uh,
honestly never played it, but I've heard a lot about it. Oh, I always forget that says elusive and not skirmish. I always find that I hear so many people talk about it, and it seems like such an interesting game, but I've never actually played it myself. But you said it's the most complicated game for sure.
yeah. And I've played like Twilight Imperium, Mage Knight, stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, so uh, after that, because it was an asymmetric game, I was like, okay, I like the whole thing of it, but the asymmetric nature of it is making it really difficult to learn. So I looked into the Legend of the Five Rings card game, living card game, and I played that for a bit. And that is a very kind of elegant game, and I enjoyed playing it because it made me feel like I was becoming more strategic at playing other games, like playing Legend of the Five Rings.
Right.
Um, but uh, the thing is
So
with
you were kind of in the FFG sphere of games, and that kind of led you down the path to KeyForge at some point.
yeah, so I'm trying to think what other FFG games I played. Um, I haven't played anything with the Star Wars license. Played TI. Um, yeah, but I'm not even entirely sure why I decided to get into L5R. Just that I did,
Okay.
um, and it was really good to get into. But the issue with it, as is with all of these kind of hobby games, that let me take my turn.
No problem.
There we go.
It's hard to talk and play at the same
Yeah,
time. It's
it really
definitely
is
a
actually.
developed skill, not a natural skill.
There we go. Um, the people who play those kind of hobby games, they just play that game. So they get really, really good at it, and they invest a lot of time into researching different deck builds and what the metagame is and watching the streams and all sorts. So for me, as a person who like wanted to go to my local, play a few games a week, and have a good time, while maintaining my other hobbies. There's only so much bashing your head against the brick wall that you can manage before you say, okay, maybe this isn't for me.
Right. Sorry,
Um,
give me I'm gonna have to refresh. It won't let me select a key to forge.
oh, okay.
Hopefully we don't lose the game.
I'm still connected.
Perfect. All right.
Um, so while I was playing L5R, actually, was when I first heard about KeyForge. So some of the guys were like, okay, it's a new Richard Garfield game, it's pre-constructed decks, it's either going to be the best thing ever or the worst thing ever, right?
Right.
Um, so I decided on a whim to go to a pre-release event in Huddersfield, which is about 20 minutes away from where I live. Bought my first deck there, played it, and for for me, the most tedious part of playing L5R was the deck construction. So,
Mm.
where is all my amber going? Oh, you've captured it all.
I use honorable claim, which actually works in this deck. Because I have four. I literally have all my knights on the field except for one right now, so it works. It works pretty good.
Wow. Um, yeah, I found the deck construction very tedious, and I was always net decking. And if I'm playing the game, I want to be playing a match. I don't want to be looking on the L5R wiki to decide what combo is best for this one card that I want to play in my deck.
Mm.
So played at a few KeyForge events, got more into it, realized that I was just enjoying it more
Right.
than L5R. So I went more into playing KeyForge at my local store, which is Geek Retreat Leeds. And yeah, I've been running events there since about February 28th, 2019. Yeah, because it came out
Okay.
November 2018.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Wow.
a year and a half. I've been running events at that store and trying to get more people involved and that sort of thing. So that is my background. Ooh, right. Sequencing time.
Oh, oh.
Hold on. If I do those two,
I feel like I should start
and then this
talking to you
one.
more and more. Try and throw you off.
um, and then this one.
Oof. That doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and I'm gonna trash my hand. Still haven't got my two artifacts. It's very annoying.
Are they crucial to your success?
No. But
Okay.
they're the fun part of the deck, so if I don't get to play them, I feel like I've missed out somehow.
Right. How do I do this? I guess I can do either way. Okay.
Ooh.
So put the tax on to keep myself. Oh no, you don't get to forge, so I can be sneaky here.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to outlast you 2 turns, basically, is how this is going to play out.
Oh, okay. Oh, that is so good with the autoencoder.
It's amazing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is like this deck is built to be an auto encoder deck. I just absolutely adore it. Okay, so I think I have to stop right there. Will this be the mistake? Oh, it was a mistake. Okay.
Oh dear.
We'll see what happens.
Okay. Let's get rid of that.
Makes sense.
Pop these back.
How dare you? What would you consider your greatest KeyForge achievement?
Ooh. So I think it's definitely my UK Grand Championships performance.
Okay.
I managed to play on stream for a bit, which was amazing, and managed to get in the top 8. Got beaten by the overall winner, so I don't feel too bad about that.
Right.
I guess the other thing as well, which was a little bit of an ego boost, was in the last month's TCO tournament, it was a quick adaptive event. And I managed to get on the stream playing quite a bit, and I think I went 5-1 and came third or something overall. But there's a tweet out the other day just going, "Oh, do you want to watch some exciting competitive KeyForge? Watch this game with Muffins." And I was like, "Oh, is that one that I had a massive comeback in?" So I don't know, seeing stuff like that feels like an achievement.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's amazing. Honestly, a comeback win it feels the best.
Yeah, and just for people to be discussing it,
Hmm.
that's really cool.
Yes, for sure. So, considering you are now considered the player that you are, what advice would you give to a new player entering the game?
Oh, so I think with the number of sets that there are, it's even more important just to get the reps in and play a lot of different decks and try different things. Not only you can see what all the cards do, but you can start to build a knowledge of what the particular interactions are. So there's lots of things that a new player wouldn't necessarily get immediately, such as the link between the autoencoder and a Novu Dynamo,
Hmm.
and why keeping that going would be a good thing or be beneficial or be especially beneficial.
Hmm.
And it's all comes with experience. And I guess the other main thing is, find out who is in your local group, where they play, go down, say hello. Um, for me, like the biggest part of the game is the community around the game. And in particular, I absolutely adore the UK community, and we've got quite close over the last few months, which has been really nice. Um, and just get involved with the community, and make friends and find people you enjoy playing with, and have a good time. Um, it's the biggest, most important part for me.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. There's like I like what you said about the playing lots. So you don't think it necessarily you have to play all like the same deck over and over. You think when you start off you should play a multitude of decks and get a feel for things and then maybe choose a deck that you enjoyed the most is kind of your standpoint.
Yeah, I feel like the benefit of playing one deck repeatedly is mostly when you're preparing for like an Archon competition. So
Mm,
getting to know that deck really well and how it functions in a lot of different situations is more of a competitive minded thing for me, and not a deck exploration thing. So
right.
part of the joy of the game is that you have all these pre-constructed decks that operate in very unique ways, and force you to reevaluate cards that you thought were suboptimal and find a way to make it work. So for me, if you're not kind of looking at all the different decks and trying out different things, then you're not gaining knowledge. I think it's a faster route to gaining experience, to
Okay.
try different things.
I totally misplayed that last turn. I just realized.
Oh, oops.
I'm really mad at myself now.
You just play one card.
Yeah, I forgot that I was forging keys when I got distracted by our conversation. I fell victim to my own trap, and so I meant to actually I should have gone with my logos and increased key cost to 7 and then just reaped out. And I
Yeah.
totally didn't do that because I forgot. I was looking at it like, oh, I'm going to have more ember because I'm not in check, and then I'll capture one and then have more ember than you. And so, yeah,
Oh,
here we
oops.
are. The good news is I can delay for a little bit longer.
I've got my engine online now that I've got through my entire deck. So
It took the entire deck to get there.
yeah, not ideal.
gotta stay in this. Just stay in this.
Okay.
Let's be safe. Put that on the right, just in case I don't draw a logos card.
Ooh, okay.
This is way more down to the wire than I was expecting.
um,
Ooh, this is getting saucy.
I'll give you maybe an out.
Oh, you actually did give me an out.
It's okay. This is all I want to do with this deck is archive something. Screaming Cave. Use whatever's in my hand.
All right. Okay.
If I get to this point, then I'm happy.
So I can play this. And I can play this. There we go. Off check. Okay. Honestly, Shadows was maybe the worst thing you could have called for me. My whole hand is Shadows.
Oh no. Okay. Right.
Capture there. I find it so interesting being able to just discard cards, and I'm actually advancing my game forward. I think it's the coolest thing.
Yeah, it's really different, isn't it?
All right.
Yeah, I have done the greedy play, so I'll see if I can get pull something.
Interesting. The Battlefleet key abduction play. Is that what you're hoping for?
Yes.
Battlefleet into Battlefleet key abduction. Is that what I sense coming?
Let's see. Let's see if it works.
I'm excited.
It's whether I pull it or not. Oh, this is not happening.
Didn't happen?
Nope. I didn't pull any extra Mars cards.
Oh,
so
no.
all I can do is that.
It's still good. It's still good.
Yeah. But
that was a fun game.
I got to do the thing, so I'm happy with it.
I got to do the thing as well. So weirdly enough, I've played this deck 3 times. All 3 times I have not started my hand with autoencoder, and I mulligan and get autoencoder turn like my opening hand 3 games in a row.
That's really
I feel like
nice.
there's some TCO things where some cards show up. It's like programmed almost into the deck itself or something. I don't know why. I just have this like weird feeling about it. I don't know if there's any actual like scientific or coding knowledge behind that, but
maybe a bit of confirmation bias.
Yeah, maybe. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just have 2 last questions for you, Kate. The first one is, how do you like to acquire decks? Are you more of like buy stuff on the secondary market, or do you love to buy decks and crack them and see what treasures you can uncover?
Oh, so I've only actually bought 1 deck on the secondary market ever.
Is that this one here? Or do you not count that as
well, I guess this does count as the secondary market. But the other one was I bought a revealed deck list, so I had a Mercy Malkin Queen deck because I wanted that. But everything else I've cracked from a pack. So I think I'm getting more into the secondary market as a way to get interesting decks with specific combinations, but it's not something that I've really got massively involved in.
So you must have quite a collection then if you're just constantly buying decks that way.
It's manageable. I don't have a problem, and I can stop at any time.
It's the funniest thing is when you like broach this discussion is how people react. There's this like low level shame that everyone has when you ask the question about how many decks you have, myself included, which I always find really funny. The last question I have, which is always my ending question, is if you could have any character in KeyForge be kind of like your quote unquote spirit animal or a card art or a character that represents you, who would it be?
Oh, it's got to be Flumph.
Flumph. Okay.
Yeah, I love Flumph. I like that
Okay.
it builds other creatures up and just gets progressively stronger,
Okay.
and it's really cute.
Do you find that like describes yourself or your mentality? Like what how do you identify with this card? Is it like do you like that concept of it builds other people up with itself?
Yeah, um,
I feel like this is
I think
like a low key psychological question I ask people, and it reveals about their nature when they answer
it,
this
it kind of
question.
is, isn't it? Um, I mean, what I tend to do is that I, I do the a lot of organizations, so like facilitating people playing. I try to do my best to get people into the game locally and um, expanding the community. And I am kind of looking more into kind of giving people feedback on their play. Now that I'm weirdly in a position where people fear me enough to take what I'm saying seriously. Um, but I do like that, it's got skirmish, it attacks, and it everything around it gets, well, not everything around it, but specific targets get stronger. So I
Hmm.
do like that.
That's really cool. I like that answer. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing yourself and this neat deck you have with everyone. Can you maybe let me know where people can find you if they want to reach out and talk to you or ask you any questions about anything?
Yeah, sure. So on Twitter, I'm at KeyForge Leads, Leeds. And on Discord, I'm Muffins #7150 if you want to add me. And I'm on most servers.
Fantastic. I'll be sure to put those in the show notes as well. And for everyone who tuned in, thank you so much. And Kate, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And as always, everyone, may your ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. Have a good one.